First and foremost, the great thing about the Frank McGuire Foundation is we're back on track. Okay, you need leadership. Like any coach, you got to be coach. You got to work with people. You got to take people in the right direction. And to have Robin, now the new president of the Frank McGuire Foundation, this thing is back to where it was when it started, and I know you're going to do a great job. I will never forget this day. It was the second Aeropostale Lax report we ever did. It was a Tuesday at about 11:30, and I was in the edit room. And the door opened in the edit room, and Jimmy Cavallo, one of my assistants, had a look on his face like somebody had died. And I said, Jim, what's the matter? He said, did you just hear what happened at Duke? Who was brought up on charges? Well, I said, well, I know this. I said, I just talked to Coach Danowski the other day, so I know it's not Matt. And I had a long talk with Kathy Seligman 2 days before, it was the day before Good Friday, so I know it's not Reed. And he said, it's Reed. I said, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not Reed Seligman. There's no way it's Reed Seligman. And as fate would have it, we were showing highlights of Del Barton and Summer. And the highlight that I was cutting when Jimmy said it was Reed's brother Max. And the editor said, you're not going to put that in there. I said, hell yeah, I am. This kid's 100% innocent. I know this kid. I know how he's been brought up. So we put that in. And people how could you talk about a Seligman? How? Because I know the family. I know what they're about, and I know how they were brought up. And when everybody else, so many people turned their backs, and I talked about this at the seminar back at the Garden on May 3rd, who was there for them? Their high school coaches. They came home. When everybody wanted to lock them up, put them away, and forget about them, their high school coaches said, come back. And there was Colin Finnerty, April 14th, a Saturday, coaching with Jack Moran against West Islip. The #1 team in America, West Islip, at the end of the year. Their only loss to Jack Moran in overtime, 8-7. Over in Morris County, New Jersey, there was Reed Seligman with Chuck Rublin back home. When everybody in America wanted to talk to these two guys, they talked to two people. They talked to one person. They talked to our show. Because they knew, like their coaches, we had their best interest in heart. Hell, Reed Seligman wore a microphone for us against their game with Mountain Lakes. Oprah tried to get him. Larry King tried to get him. And 5 minutes before the game, I said, Reed, will you put it on? Anything, Mike. You believe in us. And the game was over. And I said, through all this stuff, and this is before they were found innocent in the public, guys like Jack Moran, Mike Pressler, Chuck Rublin, they knew they were innocent from the get-go. What was it like? He said it was horrible. He said it was absolutely horrible. And I said, when that first happened, what's the first thing you did when you got back? He said, I didn't even go home. I went right to Del Barton. That's my home. He went right home to the Del Barton school, and instantly Coach Rublin, Reed, put on a whistle, get on the sideline. That's what it's about. That's why guys like Jack Moran and Chuck Rublin will receive the first ever Mike Pressler Award. Because they believe, because they care, because they coach. They coach. When these guys could have run to hide, they went the other way. Incredible visibility. Put themselves on the sideline for everybody to see. Reed Seligman was coaching 5th and 6th graders up in Morris County. Guilty? Hell no. Proud. Proud to come home. Proud to be associated with their families. And that's why when we were throwing it around in the office that day, and who could we get to speak? I said, get Pressler. I said, this guy believes in his kids. And when a parent lets their kids go and spend 4 or 5 years at a college, he's the type of guy you want coaching your sons. If you haven't read the book, read the book. It's not about the truth. Hell yeah, it's always about the truth. Absolutely. And you did an unbelievable job. My son is 9 years old. You're not going to be at Bryant for long. And he loves lacrosse. But if he was ever good enough, I'd want him to play for a guy like you. I wouldn't want him to go to a school like Duke with all those wacko professors. They're nuts. And the way that you just stood in there, and your wife and your kids, it's unbelievable. It's family. Yours and your boys on the team. There could be no two better recipients for the first ever Mike Pressler Coaching Awards than Chuck Rubling from Delbarton, who, through incredible adversity, could not be here today because the George Washington Bridge, he couldn't get across the bridge. But from Chaminade, and such a great part of the lacrosse show, that Chaminade has become such a great part of the lacrosse show, and we thought we had a chance to do something special with it. And the show isn't special. It's the teams that we cover and the people that we meet and the players that we get to showcase. That's what makes it special. So, co-recipients, Chuck Rubling, and from Chaminade High School, lacrosse coach Jack Moran. Jack?
First, excuse the voice, I do coach football as well, and I do encourage the lads at a high pitch. First of all, I'm very humbled to be here. The situation that occurred at Duke put many of us to the test of our true values. And at Chaminade, there are three things I ask our players to analyze and to grasp and to take hold of. And the first is, what does their God think about them? When they do anything, is there any time they would say, you know, Lord, was that the right thing to do or not? The second thing I ask them to do is to analyze, what does their mother think about them? And the first one I got with God, I get that from Chaminade. It's a Catholic school, Society of Mary. I'm privileged. It's changed my life to be there. The administration is unbelievable, and it's a great place to work. The second one, my father told me, don't ever do anything that would embarrass your mother. You know, my dad was second eldest in a family of 8. 5 of the brothers were in World War II, serving. One is a Gold Star member who died on D-Day. And I'm honored to be named after him. But my family was very important to me, and my father said to me, don't ever do anything that your mother would be embarrassed about. And the third thing I learned through the coaching ranks from men like Jack Emmer sitting there, who I was fortunate enough to play for, and Dick Garber, and I have an uncle that's coached a little lacrosse over the years, Richie. It's what do your teammates think about you? And the first time I ever met Coach Pressler, I recognized the passion and the pride that he had in what he did, and how his teams always played hard for him. You know, it was never about having to get him ready to play. They always played really hard, and that's because they loved each other. So that's something I kind of plagiarized from Coach as well. And I think those are three things that when this all came out and Colin was implicated, I knew in my heart that he would not be involved in something in that realm. And we embraced him, and like Mike said, the media came, and you know, Colin's he's a good person. He's a good family. His family is very important to him, and he's a great teammate. So as the truth did play out, Coach, you know, things ended up where you want to give me an award for doing what we preach to our kids every day. You know, we'll be there for you, do the right thing. And as Father O'Malley, famous professor of, I think, Fordham still, has said, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. So having said that, I'm again very, very honored and privileged to be here. And you couldn't be naming an award after a man who stood on his beliefs and showed the country and showed the world that, you know, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. Congratulations, Mike. Thank you very much.